Consider the 48 laws of power, your tools to perfect your art of indirection. Many of them are based on the writings of men and women throughout history who have studied and mastered the game of power. First law, never outshine the master. Even if you are better in any area than your bosses, never exhibit it to them. Otherwise, you may trigger feelings of fear and insecurity. You should be polite and kind to them, and do things that please to stay on their good side. Second law, never put too much trust in friends and learn to use your enemies. Be wary of friends because they will betray you more quickly than enemies will. Hire former enemies and they will be more loyal than a friend because they have more to prove. If you have no enemies, find a way to make them. Third law, conceal your intentions. Always keep people off balance and in the dark by never revealing your real goals. Do things to throw people off. If they don't know what you're up to, they can't try to mess with it. Fourth law, always say less than necessary. When you are trying to impress people with words, your control of your narrative will dwindle the more you speak. Make everything you say mysterious, even if you are saying something banal, as it will seem original. Powerful people impress and intimidate by saying less. The more you say, the more likely you are to mess up or say something foolish or dangerous. Fifth law, so much depends on reputation. Guard it with your life. You can intimidate people and win at life through your reputation alone. But if you lose your reputation, you will be vulnerable to attack from all sides. If you want to destroy enemies, besmirch their reputation. Sixth law, court attention at all costs. We live in a world of appearances. The most popular people are the ones who create an unforgettable, even controversial image. If you want to be known, put yourself out there. Stand out. Seventh law, get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. You can use their effort to further your own cause. It will save you valuable time and energy, and though it's their wisdom and knowledge that got you there, you will be remembered. Eighth law, make other people come to you. Use bait if necessary. When you force the other person to act first, you are the one in control. It's always better to make opponents come to you, as it makes them abandon their own plans in the process. Ninth law, win through your actions, never through argument. It is better to get people to agree with you by doing things in a way that does not offend them, rather than trying to persuade them by arguing with them. You can't just talk at people, you have to show them why you're right. 10th law, avoid the unhappy and unlucky. You can die from someone else's misery because emotional states are as infectious as diseases. Always associate with the happy and fortunate. If you help someone who is drowning, you will start drowning yourself. And if you help someone, you become sort of responsible for that person's actions. Better stay away. 11th law, learn to keep people dependent on you. To keep your independence, make sure you are needed and wanted. If you make people depend on you, you'll have more freedom. Never teach them enough so that they can do without you. 12th law, use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. Be selective in your honesty. That way, it will be harder for people to catch you. One sincere and honest move can win over people, which will allow you to deceive and manipulate them. 13th law, when asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest, never to their mercy or gratitude. Frame what you want in a way that will benefit the other, so that they're much more willing to do it. 14th law, pose as a friend, work as a spy. It's critical to know your rival. If you play the spy yourself, you'll always be one step ahead of them. You can also ask indirect questions to get people to reveal their weaknesses and intentions. Any occasion is an opportunity for spying. 15th law, crush your enemy totally. A lot more is lost through stopping halfway than through complete annihilation. The enemy will recover and will seek revenge. Do your best to conquer completely, not only in body but in spirit. 16th law, use absence to increase respect and honor. Don't be too popular. It makes you look common. If you are already established in a group, temporary withdrawal from it will make you more talked about, even more admired. Learn when you need to leave, as scarcity creates value. 17th law, keep others in suspended terror, cultivate an air of unpredictability. Humans have an insatiable need to see familiarity in other people's actions. When you are predictable, it gives them a sense of control. If you are deliberately unpredictable, they will break down trying to explain your actions. 18th law, do not build fortresses to protect yourself. Isolation is dangerous. The world is a dangerous place. You have to protect yourself. A fortress may seem like the safest choice, yet isolation exposes you to more dangers than it protects you from. When you isolate yourself, you miss out on valuable information, which renders you an easy target. Always be out there trying to find allies and mingle. The crowd will shield you from your detractors. 19th law, know who you're dealing with and don't offend the wrong person. You would be a fool to assume that everyone will react to your strategies in the same way. If the wrong people discover you are manipulating them, they will spend the rest of their lives seeking revenge. 20th law, do not commit to anyone. Do whatever you want, be your own person. By not committing to anyone, you're more attractive to everyone. You become the master of others because they are all competing for your attention and love. 21st law, play a sucker to catch a sucker. Seem dumber than your mark. Always make your victims feel smarter than they really are and smarter than you. If they're convinced you're dumber than them, they won't suspect you have the range for harboring ulterior motives. 22nd law, use the surrender tactic. Transform weakness into power. Have no qualms about surrendering to someone who is stronger than you. It's not a matter of honor or courage or any of that, but survival. It also gives you time to torment your opponent and strike when they're down. 23rd law, concentrate your forces. A person who is really good at one thing is better than a person who is mediocre at many things. Concentrate all your energies on your strongest point so that you can excel in it. 24th law, play the perfect courtier. Being a courtier is like being a politician. It's a dangerous game, and you can get killed or exiled if you displease the king. You have to walk a tightrope between pleasing the king and distinguishing yourself from the other courtiers. 25th law, recreate yourself. You should not accept the roles that society foists on you. You should recreate yourself by forging a new identity, one that commands attention and never bores the audience. Be the master of your own image instead of letting others define it for you. 26th law, keep your hands clean. You should always have a scapegoat, someone to blame for your mistakes. Make them do your dirty work for you for your benefit, and make sure you are never the one to blame when something goes wrong. 27th law, play on people's need to believe and create a cult-like following. In today's world, with the waning of organized religion, people want something to believe in. Make yourself the face of a movement or a cause and make people follow you, believe in you, and fight your battles. 28th law, enter action with boldness. If you are unsure about doing something, do not attempt it. Your doubts and hesitations will very likely ruin your execution in a self-fulfilling prophecy. Always act boldly. Any mistakes you commit through audacity are easily corrected with more audacity. 29th law, plan all the way to the end. Take into account all the possible obstacles and twists of fate that might reverse your hard work and give the glory to others. By planning ahead, you will not be overwhelmed by circumstances, and you will know when to stop. 30th law, make your accomplishments seem effortless. Anything you do must seem natural and executed with ease. The more you try to appear natural, the more unnatural you appear, and people will believe you are truly powerful. Don't say you worked hard and teach no one your tricks. 31st law, control the options, get others to play with the cards you deal. The best way to deceive people is to make them believe they have a choice, that they are the ones in control, when in reality you're pulling all the strings. Always force your victims to choose the lesser of two evils, so that whichever choice they pick, you will still benefit. 32nd law, play to people's fantasies. The truth is ugly and unpleasant, and people would rather avoid it. Never appeal to truth and reality unless you're prepared for the consequences of disappointing people. Make up a fantasy and see how people flock to it. 33rd law, discover each man's thumbscrew. Everyone has some weakness, some gap in the wall of their personality. It is usually a secret fear or desire. It can also be a small pleasure. Find it, exploit it, and turn it into an instrument of power. 34th law, be royal in your own fashion. Act like a king to be treated like one. You have to command respect and authority. People will treat you the way you treat yourself, and if you believe you're destined for greatness, people will believe it too. You have to act like you're destined for greatness. 35th law, master the art of timing. Time is a critical factor in the game of power. Recognizing when to act is just as important as knowing what to do. Learn to bide your time, never seem too eager, and make every action look effortless. 36th law, disdain things you cannot have. The more you want something that you can't have, the more you're giving it power. By showing disdain, you are undermining its importance. 37th law, create compelling spectacles. People are more likely to be drawn to drama, spectacle, and excitement than to facts. A grand spectacle or ritual, complete with imagery and symbols, will more likely gain followers than any dry, factual statement. 38th law, think as you like, but behave like others. If you show that you are different from others, you will be thought of as inferior. You should be careful to fit in. This way, you won't draw undue attention to yourself. 39th law, stir up waters to catch fish. Always keep your opponents on the defensive. Never give them time to think, and you will be able to manipulate them easily. 40th law, despise the free lunch. Always be wary of people who offer something for free. There's always a hidden agenda. Always pay for what you want, and don't let anyone manipulate you into thinking they have power over you because they did you a favor. 41st law, avoid stepping into a great man's shoes. If you are to succeed a great man or woman, you will have to achieve double what they have achieved to surpass them. Make your own path instead of following theirs. 42nd law, strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. People don't follow principles, they follow leaders. If you can get rid of the leader, you will have the followers all to yourself. If they are really problematic, you can even do something about the followers. 43rd law, work on the hearts and minds of others. It is better to manipulate people subtly and get them to want what you want them to want, rather than to use brute force. You have to appeal to their emotions, get them to like you and trust you, and then get them to do what you want. 44th law, disarm and infuriate with the mirror effect. By mirroring what your opponents do, you give them no control over you. If you act like them, they'll never be able to figure out what you're up to. 45th law, preach the need for change, but never reform too much at once. People will always resist change. If you want to bring about change, do it slowly and gradually, never too fast. This way, people will not resist, and the changes you want will actually stick. 46th law, never appear too perfect. Appearing too perfect is dangerous. You must be careful to make some deliberate mistakes from time to time and to admit to your flaws so that you don't seem inhuman. By doing so, you can prevent resentment from others who would like to see you brought down. 47th law, do not go past the mark you aim for. In victory, learn when to stop. It's important to recognize when you've won. Don't push things too far, or you risk losing what you have gained. Learn to know when to stop. 48th law, assume formlessness. Everything in life is constantly changing, and so should you. You should never let yourself be fixed to a specific identity or role. By being formless, you will remain unpredictable and will always be able to stay ahead of your enemies.